All right, we are live. We got a special episode. Usually we do this on Thursdays, but my man TC in the house, we're going to come to you on Friday for a special episode of the Legacy Lounge, where today's title is that a legacy is more than money. So, without further ado, my special guest, Tyron TC Bell. Hey, you want to say anything to
Hey, man. What's going on, Mr. Gordon?
Hey, I'm good. How about yourself?
Man, I am living, man. I am blessed. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to get this conversation with you. I remember when we were first sitting down talking about legacy. Maybe I don't know if it was like last year. I remember it was freezing cold, so I know that we had to cut the heat on, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah, and I see you talking about the heat. That it's a bright, sunshiny day outside. I mean, you outside enjoying the sunlight. I'm a little bit inside, but I can see outside.
Oh man, It's beautiful out here today, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I believe it. So, really, with the title being that a legacy is more than money, one of the things that comes to mind immediately is most of the people know I'm in financial services. And when we talk about legacy, they're always talking about the money that's left behind after somebody passes away. But
Okay.
I let people know a legacy is much more than that. It's like the summary of your life, the stories, the things that you leave behind to people and in them, because it's not just what you leave to people, but what you leave in them. And I feel like that is so important. But it ain't all about me. What is your thoughts on legacy?
I think legacy is not what we store up, but what we pass on. It's funny because my daughter's middle name is Legacy, right? We named our last daughter. When you have a baby when you're almost 50 years old, you got to think of something creative. So, so, so that's my, I thought about, I said, what better name for her than Legacy?
Mm-hmm.
And so we gave her the middle name Legacy. We try to always make sure that we name our children something that means something.
Yeah.
Like my son Tamir, his name Tamir means the owner of many dates, right? Meaning that he's a jack of all trades. He has many options. My other son's middle name is Legend. That's something that he's gonna have to stand up to.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And then we named our youngest, our oldest daughter after her grandmother. And so we took her name, a variation of her name and my name, and put it together. So I think when I think of legacy, it's not about what we store up, but it's really about what we pass on that matters most. And the saying, like, you never see, a hearse getting followed by a Brinks truck, right? And so you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. So it's important that we understand that the only thing that I feel like you can take on in the afterlife is the anointing that you put on earth here, right? And so you're storing your impact up, and that's going to follow someone for the rest of their life, and that's going to also carry on to another generation.
Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, really share with us like your story, your journey, because like you said some pretty powerful things that didn't just happen overnight. You thought about the names that you gave your children. So there's a depth of wisdom that you have, and I'm like, let's go deep. Don't just stay on the surface. So I mean, share with us like just your story, anything that you want to tell us.
Well, so I'm gonna start off by saying that so my daughter was born when my wife was almost, we were almost 50 years old, right?
Okay.
And I almost think it's a curse because when my dad had me, he was 58 years old, right?
Okay.
He was 58 years old when he had me. He was born in 1921. So I was a child of parents who were older, and they came from a different time. I feel like our generation, right? We don't think generations ahead. So if you go back, 400 years, the people that were our ancestors, like they were literally planning generations ahead to where we are right now. The T-shirt that people wear that says, "I am my ancestors' wildest dreams."
Yeah.
Right. I know you've seen that before.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you think about that, what does this generation hope for the next 4 generations out? Let me say that again. Think about, what does this generation hope for 4 generations out? Is it to leave a bunch of houses to their families and leave a bunch of wealth? Like, the currencies and everything have changed in the last 400 years, right? The way that you transfer money has changed in the last 400 years. So if you were 400 years ago with a vision, I'm going to leave my family a 401k. I'm gonna give them these financial investments that I have. 400 years ago, it's not worth the same thing right now.
Mm.
And so when I think about legacy and just the topic that we picked to talk about today, like, it's definitely about making money and leaving things to your family and generating wealth, right? We can wax deep about that, but everybody's talking about that.
Yeah.
I was interested in just us two getting on this call today and literally talking about how legacy is really more than just money.
Yeah.
Right? Like one of the greatest things that my mother ever told me, and this is a legacy that she left on me. She told me 2 things. She said, "Son, you can be anything you want to in life.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to." And I believed her. Right? I really actually believed her. I was like, "Oh, really? Okay, yeah." But then she also told me, "But son, you also gonna have to work twice as hard in life, just because of who you are at your ethnicity." And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget either one of those things. Son, you can be anything you want to, but you're gonna have to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
And so what that built in me is, one, it built a lot of sense of pride and confidence and hope. But then on the other side of that, it also had me thinking, like, why do I gotta work twice as hard? Am I twice as bad? Right? And so that legacy that she left on me pushes me and propels me forward every day. So
Mm.
it's not just about leaving, it's not just about the tangible things that you leave someone, but it's also about the intangible things, the marks that you leave on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How did you make someone, what's the saying? People don't remember what you said, but they do remember how you made them feel,
Yeah.
right?
Man, that's deep on so many levels, because you're saying that, like, part of her legacy lives on through the work that you do, because you know that you got to work harder now, and so it's just in you to just go out
The
there and get
grind,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
but also be hopeful, you know,
Mm.
also be hopeful.
Okay.
She was
Tell.
born in 1939, so she grew up in a totally different time and place than my kids have to grow up in today.
Mm-hmm.
I used to hear stories of my father getting, chased to school. You know what I mean? Having to fight his way to get to school.
Wow.
He grew up in North Carolina, where he grew up. The school was miles away,
Yeah.
right? So he's walking to school every day, and dealing with things. And so when you hear stories like this, that's also a legacy of triumph. Like, if I had to work through all those things just to get an education, how dare you trample on something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I had to go through all those things to make sure that you are able to have a square meal every day, endure those things, then I need to see you do something. I need to pass the baton and see you do something with that legacy, right? And so, one of the topics, one of the things I want to bring up on this call, man, is, how do you feel? How do you feel? This is a question for you. This generation builds legacy other than financial wealth.
Yeah, for me, I would say is living a life with intention and on purpose. So many times, and I was guilty of this myself. I would you ask me what am I doing tomorrow, I would not have an answer. Having that future thought, that future forethought, that man, that was I think I had to grow into that. And then part of what helped me was sitting down, having conversations with my family, and just going like, okay, where is it that we want to go as a family? One of the things that you said was like, okay, so you had that that mindset and that guidance from, you know, your parents to think, and then the ancestors to think, okay, this is where we are now, but what is it that we want in the future? You know, if they wanted us, if we're living our ancestors' dreams now, right? So their dreams was to get here. What is our dream for the future? You know, what is it that we want for the future? And that's something that I think that we really have to sit down and figure out, you know, because that's powerful.
That's good. You know, I was thinking about this earlier. One of the perfect examples of legacy in the Bible is the story of Abraham, right? And so I tend to think of Abraham as a father as I want to be as a father, right?
Okay.
So God made a covenant with Abraham. If you know the story, God said, you know, Abraham, man, you're gonna be blessed, favored, and you're gonna have lineage that's as vast as the stars.
Yeah.
Your lineage is gonna be, you know, more vast than the grains of sand on a beach. That's how far out your lineage is gonna reach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the covenant that God made with him. But here's the revelation I received from that. God made a covenant with Abraham that told him that he was going to create all these different generations. So obviously you're going to be fruitful. They're going to move the ball forward, right?
Yeah.
But he would never live to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was holding on to in faith. He was holding on to a connection with the Most High, with the Father, right? A covenant with him that he would never ever get to see come to pass, even though he would till the ground at that time for that covenant, for that hope. And, you know, the shirt I got on, you know, dreams over past experiences, right? Dreams over past experiences, right? Even though whatever Abraham had went through in his life, he still had to hold on to the hope, right? Of what the Father had given him. And that's just like us as fathers, right? As business owners, as protectors of this generation, right? Owners of this generation, right? When I talk to my son or my daughters and I'm telling them, here's the wealth I'm going to give you, it's not just about, hey, let me transfer some money into your bank account that's going to appreciate in value. Hey, let me give you some of these properties that we've taken the time to own. That's one part of it, right? Yeah. Like you think of a circle, that's a nice size chunk now. But it's not everything in full. You understand what I'm saying? God didn't tell Abraham, hey, okay, well, you know, the rest of your generation is gonna be rich because you're gonna do the right thing with the cattle right now. Yeah. What he was saying is that just trust in me, right? And I'm gonna make sure that your lineage is blessed and favored and moving forward. And so I think about that with my kids. Like when I think about what I want to leave with them, man, I want to leave with them something more than just some finances. I want to leave with them, you know, the impact of on their life. I want to leave with them integrity, right? I want to leave with them loyalty, character, right? Yeah. Knowledge of self, faith, hope, charisma, communication. I used to tell this to my son all the time. I said, listen, you line up 5 MBAs in front of me, all with the same experience, all with the same education. And the one that stands out to me is the one that can communicate the best.
Oh, for sure.
So communication is definitely impactful, right? And so, but we got people nowadays that walk around doing this, not understanding that this is the big differentiator that most people can't connect with.
Yeah.
That can't compete with.
Yeah, now people are so used to looking down at their screen that it's like they got a 10-ton weight on their head just to hold their head up and look you in the eyes. It's crazy. One of the things you said was you know, you gave a list of characteristics and values. So and this is something that I do, like even, you know, my wife and I, before we even got married, we sat down and wrote a list. Like, what are our values? What are our principles? What do we want AIM to stand for? You know, what is it that the mission that we're on? Again, like living life with intention and purpose. So creates, I mean, it's a good thing that it's our own values and principles. So it's not something that's really difficult for us to live within these on this road. But I think that more people should do that. You know, just have like a list of values and principles, you know, things that like their family stand for. Cause you know, my mind goes back to like you know, like the knights and things like that. They had like a family crest, and it's just like, okay, you know, kings and queens, they had the rings with their initials and signet on it, and they would stamp
Yep.
it. So you saw this
Yep.
as it's meant something, you know. So it's like, really, what does that name mean to you? And then what is your hope, your vision for the future on that? That's what I think you know, I don't know if we're having too many of those conversations, because if I could get going back, if our ancestors' dream was this, what is our dream going forward?
That's yeah. You know, wow, that's heavy. So when you was talking about the first thing that came to me is when you said those values. So I run a marketing agency, and we help with communication strategy for nonprofits, public purpose organizations that want to communicate with the Black and Brown community. That's primarily what we do best. And one of the things we talk about all the time is that, one, when you build a mission, vision, value statement, right? Your mission, your vision, your values. You got nonprofits and organizations or companies, solopreneurs, families, right? They want to build their mission, vision, values, but they want to build the mission before they understand where their values lie.
Mm-hmm.
And the values are really the pillars, right? The value, if you think of like one of the old Roman buildings, right, with the pillars,
Yeah.
right? So you got your vision, right? And then the mission is how I get there. It's really vision, mission, value. But people always say mission, vision, values, right? It's not. That's backwards. Because
Mm-hmm.
how can you have a mission if you don't have a vision, right? And then the other thing is, you can't have a mission if the mission statement been there for 10, 20 years. It's the same mission. How you gonna have a mission that you never end? What what in the military, if you go on a mission, the mission is supposed to have an end goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? An end goal, and you should also be able to talk about the progress towards that.
Yeah.
And then the values is what you hold against the mission to make sure that you are exemplifying what it takes to carry that mission out.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But people have it backwards. They say, you know what? I got a vision. I want to start a nonprofit organization to help X, Y, and Z. And then they go right into the mission. Now I tell you how I'm gonna do that. But they don't think about that. The values is what people actually surround themselves around. The
Yeah.
values is what make people stay working with you. The values, because if you don't, and it's okay if you don't, let's say for instance, there's been times in my life that I didn't match up to my values. You know, what they say, your handshake don't match your smile,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, but if you understand what those values are, then anyone can come around and say, and hold a light to you and say, look, man, we got to get you back on the boat, because right now you sitting on the side of the boat, you're not on the boat. The values aren't the same.
Yeah.
So then it's a litmus test at that point, right? So
Mhm.
values, man, values are important, man. Values are one of those things I think that from a legacy standpoint, you was talking about the crest. Like, man, you know, that's so cool. I can see your company, like when you you know, I'm an ideas guy, so I got to say this, even though we live. So I can see your company when you sign up families, like literally giving them like, you know, a crest. I wish it was like someplace online where you could like buy credits and just send them to your clients. Like, hey, you know, we think about legacy here. Since you're one of our clients for your family as a gift, I want to give you go on this website, put your mission, vision, values in there, and they'll give you back a crest.
Yeah.
You know, that would be such a cool giveaway, man, for your clients. You know, I digress, but
Man, no, that's good, because like I said, for my wife and I, we sat down, man, we went through a lot. We was like, hey, what's gonna be, well, obviously the G is gonna be the letter, but if we had to pick an animal, what's our animal? What's our color? You know, everything. So man, that is truly amazing. So man, it makes me think of a conversation I was having this morning when you was talking about like the pillars and the values, and that's going to be the thing that draws the people. So I was having a conversation this morning with a young entrepreneur, and I was telling him, I was like, man, you really got to figure out your why and your values. And it's going to be something that has nothing to do with what you're doing. We were talking about real estate this morning. And
Okay.
I was like, your values and your principles and your why doesn't have to do with real estate. Because I was like, for me, everything's about legacy and life happens in moments. And what I truly want to do is help people be prepared for when those moments come. Like living on purpose, because life happens in moments. I said, even if I was going back and selling cell phones when I worked at Verizon, I was like, legacy will still be a part of that for me, because it's okay, you have these moments, you know, the seniors, y'all may not be able to be at every event physically, but you know, with Zoom, with FaceTime, video chat, hey, you don't want to miss those moments because that's part of your legacy, especially with your children and your grandchildren. I said, even if I was pumping, if I had a gas station, it's still about legacy for me, because you don't want to miss those moments. You got to have that fuel in your car so you can get to where you need to go, because you don't want to miss your moment. So I just happen to be financial services, but everything for me is about making sure that you're prepared for that moment when it comes. I just happen to be in financial services. The legacy thing is what it's all about.
Wow. Yeah, I think but you know, here's another to actually open up another conversation. So when I asked earlier, I said, do you think that this generation is doing a good job of creating legacy for the future? Like, are we thinking, you know, are we thinking 3 and 4 generations down the road for the most part? You know, and then as well, like, if we are thinking 3 or 4 generations down the road, are we doing that with only money? Or are we doing that with values? You know, what type of values are we handing down to the next generation? Yeah. Like, you know, the reason why I say that, man, because me and a guy I know, man, a brother named Tony, man, you know, it's an amazing brother, man. He has a program that he does, and he's a teacher, man. And we were just talking the other day, and I was like, we were saying one of the things that we agree upon is that sometimes, so when we think about desegregation, we always think about it in the wrong context, right? And so, you know, I always talk about, you know, let's just talk about this from an economic point of view, right? Let's talk about money, since we're on legacy, right? Yeah. So when my father was growing up, every single thing that he had to purchase and his family had to purchase most of the time was in a small community of people that looked just like him. Okay. And what wound up happening is when desegregation came, and don't get me wrong, there was plenty of great things that happened, but when desegregation came, one of the effects that still resonate in the Black community for sure today is the effect of commerce, right? And so when you go from, you know, say for instance, my grandfather he owned his own business. He was a cartage. He had a cartage service where he would go around and cart stuff, like he would haul things, right? He had a horse drawn, like a buggy and some horses, and he would haul things away. And this was in North Carolina in the 20s and 30s. And so when desegregation happened, for instance, now everyone that could have used his service is now using all the different services that are available to them, because that was a privilege that we were not allotted at that time, right? And that is one of the detrimental effects that our community has never recovered from. And it shows itself when you look at, you know, out of 100 entrepreneurs, maybe in the city I live in, only probably 3 of them are Black, right? Now, and then to take it even further, right, the success rates are minimal. Yeah. And that's why we have to have programs like Think Big that can actually go into a community and say, no. What we're going to do is we're going to intervene in that position, right? And actually give more resources to not just level. It's not about leveling out a playing field. It's about recovery, right? It's about recovery from a system that hasn't yet recovered yet. So when you think about it, if you own a restaurant and desegregation happened and you're in the Black community and you've been there for the last 10 years, all of a sudden everybody wants to go to the diner because they found out they can sit at the actual table, You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now we're sitting at the table, and that's a privilege that if I was there, I'm sure I would want to do that too, because that's something that was like the dream at that point, right? But the
Hmm.
problem is that when that happened, these entrepreneurs were now suffering, right? And in the beginning, I'm sure people, the people that own those businesses that didn't want the black people to come in was probably like, man, don't come in. I don't want you here. And there was a bunch of mess, right? But then after a while, they're like, man, this bottom line is hitting. I got 20% of my sales because we have 20% more people coming. And
Hmm.
so, commerce, when you talk about wealth, you talk about generational wealth, you know, the fastest way to wealth, in my opinion, is obviously going to be, when you invest in, obviously, long-term financial investments in the stock market over 30 years. But then you have real estate. Real estate's always going to, appreciate in value, most likely in the same time frame. But then after that, it's going to be entrepreneurship. It's going to be building businesses. Over half of America is based off of the jobs in America is based off of what? Small business,
Hmm.
small businesses. And if you got a community where the small business isn't thriving, it makes it impossible, literally impossible to generate paths in education, right? Because how can you think about education when you're thinking of Maslow's principle? You hungry. So I can't think about school when I'm starving, right? And so it's like that's like I was telling someone the other day too. When you think about helping someone, you have to think about what is valuable to them. This is an entrepreneur principle. Because when we sit down with people, the question has to be answered. You know, 3 months from now, I'm working with you and it didn't work. Tell me why that happened. They're like, what you mean? Well, I'm saying if I work for you the next 90 days and you want to leave me after 90 days, what would have made you do that?
Hmm.
And they're going to say, well, man, you didn't hit this goal. You didn't do this. And so now I know that if I do those things, then we're in right standing with you, right? Yeah. So that's our objective and those are our goals. Because
Hmm.
it doesn't make any sense for me to set my goals here and my client's expectation is here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Man, that you said a lot that's been resonating with me lately because just in my line of work dealing with finances and stuff, when I sit down with every client, I'm like, what do you want this thing to do? Whether it's an investment, whether it's a policy, whether it's whatever. I'm like, what do you want this thing to do? Why are we having this conversation? Because it's not about my goals.
Mhm.
Again, I could design something that's beautiful, but if it's not tailored to your needs and your wants, and it's not a reflection of your goals, of what you want now, of your goals, what you want in the future, then what are we doing? You know?
Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of like working out. I used to work for, well, I'm still great friends with CEO of the software company, and she said to me, I told her she used to be a bodybuilder too, like an award-winning bodybuilder, and I told her, I said, I need to lose some weight. I got to lose some weight.
Mhm.
Seriously. She was like, okay, well, why? And
Yeah,
I was like, because I want to go on vacation. But why is that important? Because I want to be able to feel good about myself. Why is it good to feel good about yourself? And I'm like, why are you doing the 5 whys with me right now? I just want to lose some weight. But she
yeah.
was saying that you got to find, it's not about losing weight.
Mhm.
It's about, you got to find a deep goal, the thing that's driving you to lose that weight.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it came back to my kids, man. It's like, I have a condition, that I know that the more weight that I take off my joints is going to be better more conducive to me being able to be more playful with my kids.
Mhm.
And so now when I look at them, I can think, okay, when I'm eating the wrong things or I'm not working out or I'm refusing to do what I need to do, I can also think back to them because, you got to have a better goal than just I want to get rich.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. That's what I like about you, Tino, man, because you named your business how your values is. So
Mhm.
when you sit down with someone and you talk about finances, man, you don't just talk about, okay, let me get a new client and show them how to invest their money so they can make more money. It's way deeper than that. You sit down and talk. You go to the very beginning with that person and start talking about generations past them. And see,
Yeah.
people don't really understand that it's not just a cool name. Like you're literally trying to show these people how they can create an Abraham mindset. Like we're talking about not just right now, but generations past generations past generations. I'm talking about things that they'll never even see to come
Yeah.
to pass,
Yeah.
right?
I tell some of my clients, I'm like, you could plant the seed. You may not be able to sit in the shade. You may not even be able to pick the harvest from this tree, but they'll know this tree was here because you planted it.
Because you planted it. Yeah. And it's not just enough for you to know that. The person, my clients, sometimes they will come to me and say, well, I tried to do like a course. So I try to do a challenge and it's not working. And I'm like, well, you tried to do a course for someone. You tried to do a challenge group. You tried to do mentorship. That's what you're trying to do. But it has nothing to do with you. In reality, you're just literally the facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the hero in the story. You're the facilitator. So if you're really the facilitator, then did it not work because it didn't work for them? So let's find out why it didn't work for them, right? Why didn't it work for them? What happened? What could have happened differently that would have made their outcome better, their experience better, their engagement better, right? And so a lot of times, and I'm a devil's advocate thinker, man. I always think the opposite way. I see things differently. I always tell people if I say something, it's just because I'm just trying to challenge you because I want you to be better, right? And so a lot of times even if you're sitting down with a client, and I know sometimes they just don't get it. Like you're like, hey, if you just save $500 a month for the next 30 years, you could be a millionaire and I can show you how. And they're like, I don't believe you. Mm-hmm. They can't see that. They don't have the vision, right? Yeah. So part of our jobs as consultants, right, because we're both consultants in our own way, is to help people see the correct vision, right? So people have these weird goggles on. They see things like the funny house. You go in the funny house at a carnival and it's all like this. You're like, man, I can give me $500. I can save you. I can get you out of here. You're trying to reach for them, right? Yeah. You're trying to reach. And then they're coming out, right? They can't find you because they got the weird goggles on. They can't see it. So our job is to put the corrective lenses on them to help them get the right vision. Then you get the mission. You see, it does you no good to do a 5-day challenge with me about finances if I don't agree with you yet.
Yeah.
If we don't align yet, we're not on the same page, then I'm just going to drop out. If I go to the gym, same thing with the gym, right? You can go to the gym and the guy's saying, you want to lose weight, you're going to have to push away from the table. And he keep coming back. I'm not losing no weight, man. I'm not losing no weight. Why I'm not losing weight? I'm paying you $30 an hour. $60 now. I'm not losing weight because you're not pushing. We're not aligned yet. Mm-hmm. It's more to it than that.
Yeah, man. You take me back to one of my clients. She said she turned down like 12 financial advisors and consultants, and really the reason why she picked me is because I was interested in her story, her dad's story, the grandpa. Like they built something amazing, and every person was just like, all right, let's just talk about the money. And she said, like, nobody actually took the time to figure out, like, how did I even get here to this point? Like, what were the values and principles that my dad had to build his business and be as successful as he is? Everybody's just looking at me like, oh, they see the dollar sign. And again, my whole thought process is, again, money is just a tool, but what is it that you wanted to do? It was funny. One lady, she really just wanted to save some money so she can take care of her dog. She's like, I just want my niece to be able to have money to take care of my dog. And I'm like, cool. Your heart's in animals. You don't have any children. You want your niece to take care of your dog. That's fine. So
right. Yeah.
It's just, again, we can all look at the same thing, but we all have different views, different values, and different meanings to it. Like how you're saying going through the carnival house and it's all wavy and everything. So it's like, let's
find my way out.
One thing, let's get on the same page with one thing and then go from there. Because one of the things I tell all of my clients, I'm like, we got to start with the foundation. Are we on the same page? We can't build anything on like shaky and weak foundation. So let's establish the foundation, and then where do you want to build and go from there?
Yeah, some people you're meant to work with, man, and some people not so much.
Yeah.
Right. I always tell people I never lost a business partner, client that I've lived to regret, because I think that it's best for both of you if you don't work together, if you're not a good fit. It has nothing to do with me being great and them being not so great, or vice versa. It really is just the fact that there's somebody else that's meant to work with them. and it's going to be amazing, right? And we're in each other's way at that point because you want to work with people that you do your best work with, people that energize you, that make you feel amazing when you come to work. You know, it's just some people you just get on the phone with them like, man, I love talking to that guy. You know what I'm saying? They just energize you, man. They charge you up. And then there's other people when they talk to you, you feel like they're just dragging you down, like you got a ton of bricks on you. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't want that, man. We want to work with people that fill us up. You know, man, I could go deep with that. Man, I don't know how much time we got. Can I take us back to church real quick?
Go.
Let me take us back to church, man. I got to get the people this. Hopefully somebody will see this because this is some revelation that I was able to unpack a while ago, but I think it's fitting for what we're talking about right now, right? So I'm not sure everybody knows the story, but I got a different spin on the revelation. I just want to share it with everybody before we depart. So in the Bible, it's a story about the three servants. Everybody knows the story most likely, especially if you've been to church a lot. If not, I'm gonna unpack it for everybody so that way it can make sense. So there was three servants, and so the master said, I'm gonna go on vacation. I'm going to Cancun or whatever. I'll be back, but I'm gonna leave y'all with some stuff. I want y'all to take care of this stuff. I'm gonna leave y'all with some packages. So he left one of them with, let's just call it. They called them talents, right, back in the day. And I'm not going to talk about that, but he left them with a package. One of the packages was worth a little bit. The next package, the second servant, the package was worth a little bit more, right? And then the third servant, he only left them one package, right? He said, "Look, I'm gonna leave. Don't open these up till I leave. But when I leave, I need y'all to work these packages, take them, and let's see what happened when I get back." Master went away. Servant's like, "All right, man, let's open up these packs and let's start putting them to work." Yeah. Right. So they got to work. So master come back. All right, what we got? Let's chop it up. And so he took one of the packages and he said, one of the servants said, "Okay, master, look what I did. I took that package that you gave me and look, I doubled up." And master's like, "Well done, my man. Well done. That's my boy." Next one, he's like, "Yo, look what I got. I took the package that you gave me. You gave me a little bit more, man. I got quadruple. Came back with quadruple what you gave me, man." Right? And then the third servant was like, "I did one better. You only gave me one, so I was smart. I knew that you didn't. I know that you didn't want me to do nothing with it. I know you wanted me to save it, so I saved it. And this is for everybody out here too that's thinking financially, right? There's two types of people. There's savers and there's people who make money, right? I'm a person that make money. Period. I make money. I've been making money my whole life. I haven't made less than $43,000 since I'm 13 years old. So I make money. My wife, on the other hand, is a saver. So she would have buried that package. I would have did something different. This is the revelation I got. When the master looked at that servant that had the one pack, hid the package, saved it so that nothing would happen to it because he knew it must have been special because it was one thing. He was right. It was totally special. It was special. That's why he only gave him one. Now, most people would say that the master was upset with him because he didn't have enough faith to do something with the package. I'm gonna take it even further. Everyone's right about that. That is true. He was upset because he wasn't obedient, and also he didn't have the faith that if he took that one thing and let it go, it would come back to him. Yes. This is for the saver. Sometimes you can't save your way out of a situation. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Sometimes you're not gonna be able to save your way out of a situation. Sometimes you got to put your boots on. You got to go out there and you got to grind. You got to have faith. You got to go out there and make it happen. You can't save your way out of every situation. You already messed it up. You too far down. You got people telling you to save that. Go pray about it. Do what you got to do. Think about it. Meditate. Whatever you do, and get out there and work for it. That's what I'm talking about. Watch what I tell you. This is what happened. The master was upset because he gave him the one thing that could have affected everybody for generations. This is why the master was so upset with him. And if I was the master, this is what I would have said to him. I'm gonna replay it for you. This is what he probably said. "You fool. I gave you the one thing that would have not just quintupled what they got right now in the short run, but on the long run, it would have blessed people for generations and generations and generations. The kids. I gave you the anointing to lead the people. I gave you the vision. I gave you the vision to take what they had, the vision to not save. I gave you the ability and the anointing to take the gifts, the skills, and the talent that you have. And that's going to go further than anybody can do from saving. Stop saving and get out there and go make it happen. That is the revelation. So some of you sitting back right now and you thinking like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I know at the end of the month, you don't have enough money at the end of the month. The first thing you need to do is get a financial professional and they're going to analyze it the right way. But listen, Uncle TC, right now, what I'm telling you is that if you have more bills at the end of than you do month, you're not going to be able to save your way out of that situation. You got to do something drastically different. So you got to look inside of yourself and find out what your skills, gifts, and talents are and what you are anointed in. And that one thing can propel you 10 times farther than saving will ever do that for you.
Yes.
I'm going to give you another perspective. So I wanted to make sure, in the legacy, from the sense of legacy, that anointing, man, he gave him the great multiplier. Mm-hmm. He gave him the exponential factor that if he had just took the time to open up his package, he would have known, oh my God, he would have known that I am anointed to lead these two to help them to go in the direction that God had prepared them for with those two packages.
Look, man, you speaking on some personal things in my life. I ain't gonna break it out on the show, but man, you hitting the nail right on the head. So it goes back to one of the things in my team meetings. I keep saying, I'm like, guys, it's written. Your gifts will make room for you. Like, what are you doing? What are you using your gifts for? We talking about, I don't have the money, this and that. What is your gift? What is your gift? And then even to take it when you want to think about this even further, right? So let's just say you pass away, you go to heaven, God's there, and he's like, look, hey man, you did a great job. Way to go. You made it. But let me show you what you could have been if you used all your gifts and all your talents and all your anointing. And the thing is, like, are you going to be able to recognize that person? Is the person that you are now on that path, are you going to be able to live up to that person who you should and could be? I don't want there to be a massive difference in that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's just like, again, because you buried your talent. You buried your
talent. I mean, what the song say? Hide it in a bushel. No. What the song say? The song say, hide it under the bushel. No. I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Right? So what I'm saying to you is, man, as you start to, because I know you do this with your clients, there's an aggressive way and there's a passive way to invest, right? And they're not fitting for everyone. But I'm speaking to the person right now that's like, man, I don't want to spend this money on an advertisement because if I do, then the money's not going to come back. I don't want to spend this money on an employee because I don't have the faith that I'm going to be able to train them. Or I don't have faith they're going to do what they say they're going to do. Or I'm not going to spend this money on buying a house because I don't know if it's going to appreciate. Or I'm not going to spend this money to pay Tino to tell me what to do. Because, you lacking faith.
Yeah.
You literally lacking faith. Man, that's a big mosquito. I don't know what that thing is, but it's big. It's real big. Look at that thing, man. What is that?
Man, I don't know.
That joker is huge, man. So anyway, with that being said, that joker was, what is that? You see how the enemy do?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Where my prayer warriors at?
You speaking too much truth, man. You had to shake it up a little bit.
Man, come on, man. Yeah, one monkey don't stop no show though. No. But yeah, so man, this is amazing, man. You got an amazing thing going on, man. I really appreciate you, having me. I really appreciate the fact that, from our conversation, man, you never know how when you drop a nugget, how somebody will pick that nugget up and run with it. You know, I always tell my wife, like, I come up with these ideas and then somebody else will do the idea or something. And I tell my wife, she's like, hey, stop talking about your ideas. I always say, this not my idea, it's his idea.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have conversations with people, it's not meant for you. You are literally just transmitting God's word. And oh my goodness, man. I think if more people really understood that, oh man, it's heavy. That's heavy.
Look,
I learned that firsthand recently. You know, somebody said something to me. He said, man, you're a procrastinator, and that's hating. And I said, you know what, you're right, man. I got to take us back to church real quick, man. That's the other part of what happened. The talent. I missed that one. I'm sorry. Let me double back. When he was frustrated with the servant, when he put that package and saved it, that procrastination, that disobedience. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. God said in another verse, he said, if you will not worship me, surely the rocks will cry out. And I think procrastination is disobedience.
Yeah.
Procrastination is disobedience. Yeah. And what did he say? If you will not worship me, I'll say it another way. If you'll procrastinate with the vision I give you, Tino, if you procrastinate with the vision I gave you, TC, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let so-and-so do it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to make him cry. I'm going to make that rock cry out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the other part to it is like, hey, man, I'm better than the rocks. But if you see the rocks cry, you're going to be like, how they, now you jealous and now you envious.
Come on, man. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I dealt with that full circle, man. And I was like, you know what? Now I understand. Now I understand why obedience is better than sacrifice. Now I understand what he meant by that. Obedience is better than sacrifice. I told you to go out. You didn't go out. So somebody else is going to go out. Now you deal with that.
Yeah.
You thought it was a sacrifice. I don't have enough time to sacrifice. I don't have enough time to sacrifice. I have this to do this. I'm not going to sacrifice this to do that. I can't listen to you right now. I'll be back though. Nah, I'm going to make a rock cry out. You good?
Mm-hmm.
You good? I'm cool.
Time is going to pass either way. And you don't want to get to the end of your life and have a handful of woulda, coulda, shouldas and regrets.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, would you rather have opportunities and satisfaction, or would you rather have, you know, wishes and regrets? And I just, man, because the person who's really going to take care of your older self is your younger self. Everything, them secrets of events, you know, I sit there and I go, what is it that I'm doing now, and how is it going to affect me at 80? You know, what I'm doing now, how does it affect me at 80? Like, man, because I know backwards, I know Tino at 15, 16, 20, I can understand how those chain of events led me here. But then, like, what is my 80-year-old self looking back and being like, man, you know, you had this little podcast. It was you and TC chopping it up. He just
I'm just thinking.
After dime nuggets after, man, I really hope people really catch the replay and soak in those nuggets. Because one of the things that speaks to me is when I tell my clients, hey, pay yourself first. You sitting there worried about this bill that you got to pay, that bill. I'm like, look, you tell them the check, you tell the electric company the check is in the mail, it's on the way, they'll keep your lights on. They will.
Man, if you're not good, no one is good. The whole business will collapse. If you're the main owner operating your business, you have to be eject, because if you're not, then the whole business gonna collapse anyway, right? You know, but they need to talk to somebody like you and your partners that can help them financially to get their stuff together, and hopefully that won't happen ahead of time. Like you should be. If it doesn't work on paper, people, look, I'm gonna tell you this: if you are good at cooking, it doesn't mean you should open up a restaurant.
Yeah,
I'm keeping it 100 with you. If you're good at graphic design, it doesn't mean you should be a graphic designer. It doesn't. It means you might go get a job doing that. If you're, you know, if you got visions like that, you need to vet them out first and make sure that it's from your skills, gift, and talent, not from a place of arrogance or even loose ambition, right? Because sometimes we just have loose ambition. I get ideas all the time I can't do because I'm not the one to do them. I'm
Yeah.
not good enough to do it in some cases. I'm just not. Right? I'm not ready for it. I'm not prepared yet. I don't have enough information yet, enough education, right? And so I think like, if anyone's listening that's an entrepreneur, everyone's not made to be an entrepreneur and somebody else might not tell you that. Right? That's why they don't put me up to speak. I'm gonna tell you what God loves. I'm gonna tell you the truth. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's not made for everybody. It's not made for everybody. I see people taking their whole 401k out. Boom! I know it's going down the drain. And I'm watching it happen in real time. They could have took that and bought a property and then let the property pay for the business. Now they're playing with the house's money from the appreciation in the house, right? But instead, I'm gonna take my whole 401k. I'm gonna do the business first, and then you got 97% chance of making it if you're black. So my black folks, know your numbers before you start running out here and doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
But in your house, you got almost 100% chance of it appreciating in value. So focus on getting the house first, then do that. Or go get somebody like Tino to tell you, because he's more qualified to tell you than I am. I'm gonna tell you off my experience of the mistakes that I made. Right? I've lost everything. I've lost my house. I lost the car. I lost the house. I lost the family. You know what I mean? And I lived long enough to get it all back. So I can come back and tell you what happened. Right? So don't do that. Don't take everything out. Don't lose everything. Right? Be calculated about what you do and get a financial professional to look at the wealth that you want to generate ahead of time. Yeah. Right? And so you can get your plan. Don't say when I make enough money, I'm gonna get a financial professional. Look at what I make. No, you making $15 an hour, you can still save. You making $15 an hour, you can still invest. Yeah. Right?
You got to fall in love with the process on that end, because people go, oh, $1 million, that's a lot of money. I can't imagine being a millionaire. I don't know any millionaires. Nobody in my family was a millionaire. And I go, people who got $1,000? They're like, yeah. It only 10 flips. You double $1,000 10 times, you got $1 million. Like again, oh, I want to lose all of this weight. Okay, well, let's get to the gym first. Let's not eat this and eat that. It ain't gonna just be overnight. But you gotta them steps. I can tell you one little trick I did to help me lose some weight. Man, because
you look good, by the way, man. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're still working on it. That's awesome. I think you've seen the whole journey.
I pinch my side over here. And anytime I take a little bite, I pinch my side. The little love handle. I'm like, oh, I don't need to take another bite. I'm gonna sit this down.
Yeah. Man, that's a good nugget too. I'm gonna have to try that one.
Yeah, man. Pinch your side. You take a bite, you just like, this is what I'm eating right here. This is how I got this little handles. Yeah, man. Because it goes back to how you think about things, how you view things, your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions. Those are what lead to the results. Like, again, success leaves clues, and there's a formula for everything, whether it's you want to lose weight, whether it's you want to make a whole bunch of money. There's always success leaves clues, and there's always a blueprint. And one of the things that I put on my life is just give people an opportunity and then show them an example of success, whatever that looks like. So whatever your goals, even if it's not financial, and you come to me, you like, hey, Tino, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, well, who do I know that does X, Y, and Z that'd be a good example of success for you? So here's your opportunity, and here's your example of success. Now I'm just getting out of the way. It ain't about me. I wish you the best, connect with them. They're the expert in this area, and just rock and roll from there.
Man, so what's next for Legacy Consulting?
Oh man, we are about to do something massive. The whole team. We had a meeting this morning. We are all fired up, just so pumped up and excited. I'm not going to spill the beans right now. We have to talk afterwards, but I'm telling you, you are going to want to watch and be on board for this, because it is going to be massive. We are going to provide a lot of knowledge and wealth for families, whether it's financial wealth, whether it's just, hey, you know what? Grandma's time may have passed, but what she could share and pass down to the rest of the family, Oh man. Oh,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
excited. Like, man,
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
I could tell
Yeah.
you right now, but I'll tell
No,
you.
no, don't tell because we're on the air now. We don't want everybody to get those nuggets right now. You gotta give it to Spring on the right time. Time is
Yeah,
everything.
it's got to be packaged correctly. But
That's good, man. That's good.
mm,
That's awesome.
it's gonna shake. It's gonna move and shake a lot.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. We have a lot of changes at our agency right now at Evolution. So we've always primarily helped Black and Brown nonprofits, public purpose organizations, but
Mhm.
meaning city government and just communicate. But we're leaning into that a lot more. We're starting to work with a lot of different organizations that are not inside of the state, and so that's helping.
Okay.
We had a lot of great conversations, and so we're really pivoting into more of a communications consulting firm. So I'm looking forward to that. And then next month we launch. Oh, it's June now. So this month we're launching a Providence agency helping minority professionals who are coaches, authors, and speakers to actually book more gigs online, virtually and in person. And
Yeah.
so, that's always been a labor of love for me. Years ago, I spent a lot of time in event promotions, um, like 10, almost 15 years. I've done major artists like, we brought Kevin Hart, we did Ty Tribbett. I mean, just Coliseum a couple times,
Mm.
Coronado, just tons of large venues. And so we're actually going to use some of the connections I still have to help these minority professionals to create a platform to start speaking and telling their story. It's called Providence. That's why I put Providence agency on my tagline. So Providence is God's protected covering. And so we have professionals on deck that's going to help these professionals to write their books, legal help. Obviously we're going to be able to create their branding and everything. So it's going to be pretty cool, man.
Hey,
We booked.
I got a question about that. Then are you gonna host like little speaking events? Because some of the speakers, I'm like, maybe you just need to get in front of an audience and figure out your stage persona or like
Mhm.
work out the kinks in your stuff. Because I would just show up and just be like, yeah, that's a nugget.
That's
Whatever
the goal. We're
speaking.
going to have infrequent local first, and then also just in different cities. I'm a part of a small group of people that's going to help to make that happen. We're going to put the speakers. We're going to book larger speakers in multiple places and allow anyone that wants to come and actually speak that's inside of our group. We're going to start to pick the right ones for those specific engagements.
Yeah,
And then
because
there's events that we go to, man. That's pretty cool. We're part of. I'm joining an organization that we'll be able to set up our booth and, so the website is a listing, just a free listing for speakers anyway, right?
yeah.
And so we're going to be able to set up at trade shows that they do what's called talent buying. So
Mhm.
like colleges, they buy talent, like for you, to come and speak about financial legacy, right? So colleges, associations, they buy talent from agencies, and so we're going to be that agency for minority professionals.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking, it was like let's just say like a Thursday night or so. It's like, hey, we got 3 speakers lined up, and for the speakers, it gives them a chance to practice speaking in front of people, and for everybody else, that's free
Important.
education. Yeah,
It's important. I need that. I love. As a young man, I was able to work with a lot of. I had a team of 160 employees, and so one of the biggest, I guess, skills that I had was pulling those 160 people and being able to communicate with them at the same time. And I
mhm.
mean public speaking, right? And I just loved it, man. I loved it. I've shed tears speaking before, you know, and I've been embarrassed, right? I've failed speaking before. I've been nervous,
Yeah,
but it's all, it's something that is not as much a skill for me as much as it is a want to just give what I feel that God has taken me through to someone else so that they don't go exactly down the same path.
hmm,
Right. And that's why I wear the shirt is dreams over past experience. It's about, how can I help someone towards their dreams regardless of their past experiences? And so, yeah, man, it's, it's not just a skill. It's something that I just want to grow so I can help more people, man, be more impactful. That's that legacy, man. It's a
Man,
legacy.
look, man, you said regardless of their past experiences, because sometimes, I know, like, letting go of the past, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself, man. Just like thinking that, oh, you can't get to where you want to be because of things that you've been through. And sometimes I'm like, because of what you've been through is the reason why you can get to where you want to be. So, but I'm not going to go deep on that right now because I already know we're already at an hour.
Yeah, maybe one day you invite me back, man. We had to talk. That was deep. That was good.
Sure, man.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Anything you want to leave the people with?
Man, I think, if anyone ever struggles with anything that we spoke about, reach out to one of us. I think that's why Tino does this. It's not just to give good nuggets, but it's also we're actually professionals that are here to help you. So, just reach out to one of us if I can, steer you in the right direction or pass you up to someone that can. That's 100%. If you're watching this, I'm sure my Facebook is attached to this message. If not, you can follow me online. My name is TC Bell. The only other thing I want to say to everybody is, legacy is really more than money. Don't let the gurus and stuff, steer you wrong. Don't let people make you feel bad either. Look, if you did not do the right thing with money and you failed, you got a long life ahead of you, right? You got a long life ahead of you. Kentucky Fried Chicken filed bankruptcy, I think, multiple times, and he didn't make it until he was in his 60s, if I'm right. Yeah. Right? So you got a long life ahead of you. It doesn't matter where you are. You have to start somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Don't let anybody shame you for not being in the right position with your finances. Just know that you can always, if you're not heading in the right directions, you don't have to worry because God allows U-turns. All right. So just get with the right people that's going to guide you in the right direction, once you understand that.
Hey, so I got this deck of cards here, right? And I forgot I was supposed to do this earlier. So I'm just going to run my finger through them. You tell me when to stop. Whatever it stops on is the question I'm going to ask you.
All right.
I'm running my finger. You just let me know.
Stop.
All right. Let's see what this is. Okay. This says, tell the story of the best day of your life.
The best day of my life.
The best day of your life.
Okay. Man, I got so many. By asking me that, let me know how blessed I really am because multiple things came to my mind. But one day in particular that comes to my mind is the day that my entire life changed when I was a young man, right before I moved to Rockford, actually. I was a victim of a home invasion. And I was shot multiple times. And a lot of people don't know that. Now they do. But I was shot multiple times. It left me with I didn't have control of my leg because the bullet, one of the bullets hit my sciatic nerve. Another one hit me in the groin. And I had to have intestinal surgery. It was a mess. And I'll never forget. I always tell people it's a blessing when God winks at you. And so I'll never forget my dad, a long time ago before I was born. The story is that I was told was that he was helping some lady he was a bartender, was helping some lady, and he got stabbed. And when he got stabbed in his side, and they gave him some type of surgery, and he had a zipper. They call it a zipper, where you got a zipper that goes down your it's like a cesarean section or something like that.
Yeah,
that's what I had. And I'll never forget that when I came home and I was dressing my wounds or something like that, my mom started crying, and she was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "What?" She said, "You got the same exact scar your father had."
Wow.
And it let me know that, that's when, somebody else had told me, like, you're not heading the right direction. God allows U-turns. That's where the whole dope dreams of a past experience really comes from. Because I was in a position where I wasn't, necessarily heading in the right direction, and I could have been somewhere totally different, right? I could have been dead. I could have been in jail. I could have been anything, but instead, God chose to spare my life. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna do three things. At the time, I was with somebody. I said, I'm gonna do right by that woman. That's the first thing. I said, I'm gonna try to treat people as positively as I can, and I'm gonna turn my life around. And 100%, when I say Tino, like, those are my prime directives, like RoboCop, right? RoboCop back in the day, he had like 3 prime directives. Yep. So those are my prime directives, like literally, right? And I live by that. I live by those prime directives every single day. And that was the day that I always tell people I was born November 18th, 1998. And so, yeah, you said the happiest day of my life.
Yeah, the best day.
That was the best day of my life, because it set me on a path of becoming who God called me to be, regardless of what had happened to me in my life. Man, it was totally life changing.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that story and being real and open, because again, that was just random with the cards, but usually
it's not random though. It wasn't random. It wasn't random.
Yeah, hey, yeah, you're right. But usually, if somebody talks about the best day of their life, they talk about like the day that their child was born or a birthday or something. But man, you couldn't. You almost wasn't here.
Yep. But I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm right where I need to be. The card stopped right where it needed to stop for hopefully someone else to hear that story.
Yeah.
And it, how ironic that I'm wearing a shirt today too that talks about that, and where the whole entire project. I mean, that's just I'm shook up by just and here. What did I say in the beginning? I said it's a blessing when God winks at
you. Yeah.
Right.
And
then he ain't just winked. He was like, he winked at me and was like, he go alley oop too. I told you to tell that story. Right. I didn't take you through that for you to be quiet. I didn't give you that package for you to hide it.
Yeah.
Like you're amazing. You're still here. It's an anomaly.
That has the same scar. I'm like, ooh, there's something there.
And I'm gonna take it even further. The same surgeon that operated on my father before he died operated on me. The same as that surgeon. Yeah, true story. I can't make it up, man.
Man,
so it's a blessing when God wink at you. Sometimes people don't get that. So,
man, this. I ain't gonna hold you up any longer, but man, we gonna talk about that one. We talk about that one for sure, man. Like I said, I hope people who tuned in live got some nuggets. Like, subscribe, share this with people who need it, because again, your life happens in moments. That story was a moment for you, man.
Yeah, but it was part of it wasn't the end. Yeah. It's what I like to call, everybody has a backstory. We teach our clients in our agency for personal branding. Everybody has a backstory. Then they have a catalyst, that point in their life where it's the tipping point. It can go either way. And then they have a purpose, right? And that's where God called them to be. So you have a backstory, what happened to you. You have a catalyst, what happened, right? You have a catalyst, exactly what's happening, right? Where you can go either way. And then you have what's going to happen, your future self, your purpose.
Yeah.
And so you got to see those things from the side view and know how to operate in them. Yeah. Hey. Man, this has been amazing, man.
Yeah, y'all go follow TC over here. Let them know where they can find you again.
Man, you can find me on Facebook, Tyron Bell, because I only deal with people that read my government name, right, on Facebook. So Tyron Bell. I have too many friends, so just if you message me, or add me, you won't get added, but I will respond and add you. And then definitely follow me on LinkedIn if you're a professional. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm online on LinkedIn as Tyron Bell as well.
All right. Well, TC, man, I appreciate you. It was another great episode. And
yeah, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, let's chop it up. So let me just end this here. Boom.